Welcome to the Glover Podcast. I'm Jeff Glover. I'm here with Big Serg. And we're going to talk about some stuff. So, I wrote some things down.
Okay.
First thing, we're going to talk about big important subject, very controversial, the war on drugs.
Oh wow.
Talking to bring it
Well,
to your face. Bring it to your face, yeah.
I have very strong opinions about the quote unquote war on drugs. I think it's a for profit. It's definitely a for profit situation. People go to prison. People make money from people going to prison. An entire judicial system is propped up on it.
Kind of more lighthearted, like make a joke about it.
Okay.
Like serious.
Good.
Like the war on drugs.
The war on drugs.
I graduated from DARE.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you graduate from DARE?
Actually, I didn't. I'm a failure at DARE. That the DARE Tiger is most definitely not proud of me.
Yeah, that was one of my earliest failures.
Was DARE.
Not that I was in 6th grade doing drugs, but I was in 6th grade already. I'm not gonna wear that shirt.
Yeah.
I don't want that diploma. I didn't care, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. Did we get kicked out of DARE? Did I get kicked out of that? I don't know what happened.
You know what? I was known for not showing up to school, so there's a good chance I might have just missed the entire episode. Do you remember that McGruff dog?
So, the McGruff dog, the war on drugs. We're still talking about the war on drugs here. The McGruff dog. Yes. What was that? Tell me about that.
The McGruff dog was this weird looking dog that was wearing this trench suit. He was wearing this trench coat. He looked like he was gonna.
You know, it's funny. Joel Tudor has a DARE graduation certificate.
That thing's got to be worth money. That thing has to be worth money. It's probably like one of 4 of those things that actually still exist.
It's pretty hilarious. Let's move on to our next subject, which is aliens.
Ooh.
Aliens. I'll tell you this. I started my fear of aliens came from the movie Fire in the Sky. The Travis Walton story.
Great movie. That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid too. Yeah, most definitely crapped my pants a couple of times. I'd wake up in a cold sweat and, picture I was Travis Walton or whatever the guy's name is.
No, I had a babysitter. My mom hired this babysitter for me. I think I was 8 or 9 or 10 when that came out, maybe younger. And
she let you watch the movie?
The babysitter took us to the movie. And I remember dropping behind the seat, getting off my seat and getting down, trying to get underneath when that scene came on. I was like, dude, my little 8-year-old eyes cannot see this dude getting something stuck into his eye by these aliens.
Yeah, that was super creepy. Whoever directed that, you're a sick fuck. I just want to let you know. You scared the shit out of us as children.
They did a great job. The other one that was pretty traumatic was the one with Christopher Walken.
Yes, Close Encounters.
No, Communion it was called.
Yes.
And that movie scared the crap out of me. The scene where he's like, I can see you. You're behind that wall. I see you behind that wall. I can see you standing there. And the thing pops its head out, and I was like, nah.
And then they had the fat druid aliens. Those things were cool.
It got crazy. Yeah. At the end, it gets crazy.
Yeah, I was like, damn, you guys just got a whole colony of different species of scary motherfuckers.
A lot of people haven't seen that. You guys should go watch these movies if you haven't seen them.
Yeah, classics.
Yeah.
Absolute
I don't know,
classics.
though. How much nonsense do you think it is? Do you think aliens are real? Are we talking about people's delusions and made up stories, or has this happened?
Honestly,
are people hallucinating and telling us about it?
I think that there's too many cultures that have written little stick figures on rocks and shit of these dudes, for not to be true.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe in extraterrestrial
10
aliens? 10.
Definitely
on
10.
A 10.
Yeah, I know they exist. I didn't get personally probed in my butt or nothing, but I could tell you for a fact they exist.
That's all right if you did.
Yes.
Okay, the next subject, not controversial at all, and we're absolutely going to get serious about this one, is Trump and Biden.
Ooh. This is an easy one for me, okay? I like money. And the more money I keep in my pocket, the happier I am. Simple guy. No politics involved, okay? I have less money in my pocket right now than I did 4 years ago. And it has a lot to do with all the gas I pay for, man. Gas ain't cheap. We need that to do everything. So
I have no dogs in this fight. You have children. I don't have a kid. I have a dog.
yes.
I don't have any dogs in this fight. I got a little dog. Um, so you go ahead and express yourself. I really don't have it
Oh
much to
yeah,
say.
well, like,
'Cause
man, easily.
my life's great.
Yeah, I like economic policy. If you're gonna help me keep more of my money and tax me less, well,
Can you do an impression of either one of them?
of
No,
either
you're not
one.
an impression guy.
You know what? I could try. I could try.
You don't have to. I feel like it wouldn't be great.
Yeah, it would probably suck. So,
Yeah.
no. The only thing I could really impersonate really, really well is a broke down 64. It's an Old Spice one lyric. Smoke more than a broke down 64. It's my best impression.
Which if they got into a fight, who do you think would win?
Oh, for sure, Trump.
He did WrestleMania. I mean,
He did WrestleMania. He did beat up on Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon is kind of swole for an old dude. So I'm gonna place $100. What is it when you just bet for the win? No over unders. Yeah, he's gonna.
I wouldn't know.
Neither did I. I'm not a big gambler, as you can tell, but definitely Trump by KO.
I'll tell you this.
Soccer kick KO.
I have enjoyed Biden's Biden's
senileness.
yeah, like the things he says. Some of the shit he says has genuinely made me fall out of my chair laughing.
I think it's hilarious when he shakes hands with the ghost next to him. He does that a lot, bro. He'll turn over and think Macron is there or somebody.
You know
and
who
try to
else made
shake
me
their
laugh a
hand.
lot was Bush. The
Oh,
Bush
bro.
the Bush videos on YouTube that are like, oh, Bush isms or what, I forget what it's
The
called.
most quotable president on earth is George W. Bush.
I miss
Yes.
laughing.
Absolutely, dude. He was a walking, talking, caricature of a meme. He represented everything stupid about Texas.
There's not much we can do. You can vote. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think voting matters. I think voting sucks.
pause.
It is your
Corey Lohr is here.
El Hef.
All good.
Yeah, we got a little serious on that one. Yeah, I would like to have a president that isn't ushering in communism. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know that I really care that much. I know that's gonna bother some people.
It doesn't bother me at all.
You should care.
That's classic Jeff Glover, if you ask me.
I don't care. Either way, I'm always all right. Okay, next subject is ADCC trials. We were there, you were there.
Yes. Awesome vibes. They just, every time they do a show, it gets better. Got to send a big shout out to Mo. That show they did, at the Thomas and Mack, top notch. You guys are getting it right. And the trials are always fun. It's like a big family reunion. You already know. Usually Jeff will host an army of bad motherfuckers, and we'll all train together, and it's pretty cool. It's if you guys have never done one of the Jeff Glover Jiu-Jitsu camps, highly suggest you do. It's probably going to be the coolest week of your entire life. You're welcome.
Yeah, the matches were great. The presentation was great. Sergio, you actually did. I have video of you making your way into the
Yes, I photobombed the staff picture.
the staff
Yes.
photo.
Yes, and it was because Jeff dared me. I just want to go onto the record and say that Jeff totally instigated that. But it was hilarious. Nobody got hurt in the photo bombing of that, and it was made for some pretty fun content.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Let's see what else. There was some new champions, some old champions. I would say who sticks out in my mind was Tackett.
Yeah.
Tackett's amazing. Obviously, Varela is amazing.
Dude, can't say enough about Andy Varela. That dude
He just won the PGF, which was
pretty awesome.
last night.
Yeah, actually, I was there too.
So yeah, so those events, a lot of events going down here in Vegas, which is one of the reasons why I got this place. And we're just what's the expression? A jump, skip, and a hop away from the convention center. and the Westgate here. And there's just been so much going on here as far as jiu-jitsu. And there's going to be so much more coming up. There's so many IBJJF, uh, PGF, um, ADCC.
High Rollers was here for a minute. Yeah, like jiu-jitsu's really starting to gravitate towards Las Vegas,
And it always has. There's always
yeah.
been a really big scene here. When I was doing tournaments, when you and I were doing tournaments here 15, 20 years ago now, um, I think it was one of the, and still is one of the top 3, top 4 best cities to get better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
As far as how many schools are here, you know what I'm saying? Like the weather, it's pretty tough to work out here. I remember the summers training here and coming out of training rooms and being like, oh my God, I'm gonna go back into that hot ass training room as relief from
To
the
cool
heat.
off, yes, to cool off. You will go inside of a sweaty ass gym to
Yeah.
cool off.
Yeah.
But you get so acclimated to that heat when people come here, you get to welcome them to the heat that you live.
And
the
there's
hell
so
you
many
live in.
schools here, and this goes into the next subject, which is the San Diego, Las Vegas, the differences in these two cities, and why they're my 2 favorite cities for doing jiu-jitsu. One, of course, like we just said, the tournaments. 2, the vibe, the culture, the fun you can have out here. 3, I love being in the desert. I love motorcycles. I love Vegas. I love going to casinos. I love buffets.
Yes. This man loves buffets.
You love buffets.
you think he'd be a little heftier for his love of the all you can eat situations, but
Mika, who is of course your
my
jiu-jitsu coach,
my professor,
who is here and has a really big team out here
It's
with
huge.
several locations.
got a huge team.
And Mika himself, I was sitting next to him last night at PGF, and he was talking about, like having 25 years of jiu-jitsu competition and never really taking a break, and where he's at now. And he was saying he's starting to kind of slow down a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? I admire Mika a lot because Mika is still competing. I retired 3 years ago because my body just couldn't. That was it. I couldn't keep training. It was like 2 years ago. I just called it quits. And I look over and Mika's like, whatever age he is, because he looks great. I can't even tell you what age he is, but he's still competing.
He's great. He's on point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to, I would like to be able to compete still at that age. So I look up to him. Big ups to Mika. You're literally someone I look up to because of your drive and your love for the sport.
Yeah, he's a great role model. The other thing is San Diego had Victory MMA had a fire.
Yes, I heard about that. That sucked. That sucked because Victory has such a good team. It's a bunch of good people out there. Jocko, Adam Mason, that's your family. That's your extended family.
By the way, Adam Mason, who along with Brian Dyer, just relocated to Florida. So those guys are not on the Victory team anymore.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. It's a great place. Jocko and Dean.
Yes, Dean Lister.
Dean's one of the owners. They had that fire. Within, I think, a month, they found their new place and started setting up the mat spaces, just how they have it there and how they had it at the old building with like 8 separate rooms. You can have like a beginner and an advanced kickboxing class going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, that is because you don't have to like schedule everything real tight. You could just schedule everything simultaneously.
Yeah. And it was an old racquetball building, so those little racquetball rooms got turned and changed into grappling or striking or fitness, CrossFit room. They had everything. It was one of the first mixed martial arts / fitness, like everything under one roof type place.
So it's basically like a Globo gym.
Is Globo MMA lifting weights.
Oh yes.
Lifting weights. Now, I was always in jiu-jitsu and never really lifted weights, and I often would look at it as
Unnecessary.
unnecessary because I would win so often, and I would beat guys my size who were like, "Oh, I'm on this weightlifting program, bada ba bada ba," and I was like, I don't do any of that shit, and I beat these guys all the time.
You beat guys bigger than you, bro.
Yeah,
I've
so I
actually seen
never.
you beat guys way bigger than you,
Yeah,
including myself included at
yeah,
my biggest, when I was like literally twice this guy's size, and he wasn't lifting weights, but he was definitely doing the jits.
yeah,
So I think that it isn't necessary if you train enough. If you train enough, you're going to build muscle memory and you're going to build strength just doing jujitsu. You know, you'll end up creating muscle memory out of all the jujitsu movements. But this is the way I see it. You have all of this technique. You have all of this really really good mechanics. If you added more torque to it, would it not be better? Obviously, you know, like you slap an arm bar on, you can do it with perfect technique. But if you actually, like, you know, try to rip the arm off, they won't even have a chance to get. They won't even have a chance. It'll be like what happens with Frank Mir. You know, that's what happens. If you ask me, that's what happens when lifting weights and jujitsu just perfectly mixes. You get Frank Mir.
yeah, and for me the biggest part is injury prevention and longevity of your joints. And I wish I could have been a little more open minded to weight training when I was younger.
Mhm.
Because now, at the age I'm at, I really enjoy it and I can feel the benefit of it. And yeah, my advice, anybody, all you guys watching, listening to this, you should get some dumbbells. Sorry, I got some shit in my eye. You should get some dumbbells. I keep dumbbells here. Like I have these. Where is it? I have these crossbow or something like that. I forget what it's called, but you can adjust
Bowflex.
Bowflex, and you can
Yes.
adjust the weights from like 5 to 55 pounds. And I hold them and do squats, whatever. I watch YouTube videos on what to do with these things, and I feel great. You know,
What do you
And
think? What do you think of those shake weights where you know you like shaking the weight
the
at your
shake weights,
face?
goo,
Yeah, like
goo.
this.
Sergio likes to see.
Yeah, it's
He likes that.
hitting the shake weights hella
Yeah.
hard.
So whether you're hitting the shake weights or you're hitting the regular weights, I
Hit
would
something.
definitely recommend that.
Yeah, hit something.
What about getting robbed? Tough subject to talk about. We've all been robbed.
Oh
You've
wow.
probably been robbed if you're watching this.
Yeah, there's a good chance you've been robbed by someone, whether it be the federal government or your local neighborhood goons. You
Now,
know.
I go back and forth on how tight I want my security of my property because I feel like it creates an atmosphere and an energy that I don't know. I don't like it. I don't, for whatever I'm failing
No,
to come up with a way to
no.
explain it.
I actually understand what you're saying because I've witnessed it. You know, I don't think I've ever seen you lock a door in your life. You know, so you always had that open vibe, that welcoming vibe. That's what you're saying. I definitely
Right.
understand that.
And I've absolutely been jacked because of it. And I don't know, maybe it's some type of like cosmic karma. I feel like every few years or so, you kind of need to get jacked. And I know some people, you and I both know some of these people who spend a lot of time, several minutes each day, locking
Yeah.
all kinds of shit.
Oh, I'm that person. I am most definitely that person. I will lock every door behind me, and it's for the same reason. I have been robbed before, you know, and a thief only needs a little bit of help. All you got to do is leave one door unlocked, and you basically welcomed the vampire into your home, you know. So, uh, the way I see it is, you know, you got to play a little bit of a role of protecting yourself, but also, you know, like how do you not trust your friends? You know, how do you not trust your people? And it's usually your people that end up robbing you. You know, it's the people that you love, that you welcome in, that they're the people that steal from you
Yeah.
sometimes. You know?
I like the idea of giving them the opportunity to
Yeah,
as soon as possible.
yeah. To prove, to
It's like
prove.
I want to constantly give people the opportunity to jack me.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like I want to leave my most expensive. I do this with weed.
Yes.
Like I leave my weed out when I have friends over to see. You
Who
know what I'm saying?
smokes
Who's
it?
just packing it and not,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, usually when I come here, I know to bring extra weed for everybody because we're all smoking, and that's usually how it is.
Yeah, because I've been jacked when everything was locked and fools just kicked doors down or found
Yeah,
ways in, and it's like if somebody really wants to rob you,
they will.
yeah,
They will.
and some people are very determined. Those like smash and grabs they do
Oh
in
yeah,
San
and somebody
Francisco.
just smashed and grabbed my Hellcat. I spent 2 months without my car because some player hater, drove by and like couldn't stand the fact that they were in this Chevy Malibu, and I was in my Hellcat, and they spent about an hour. They set off the alarm. I saw the footage. It was hilarious. These were some Keystone ass.
You saw footage.
Yes,
You saw the security camera.
security. I got friends everywhere, so security showed me the footage, and
Wow,
it
because
was
this was at Little Caesars Pizza,
no, it was at the Rio,
the Rio.
Little Caesars Pizza.
I don't know where I got that.
Yeah, it was
I
a
don't know.
Little Caesars Pizza for an hour. I was in there just throwing pies down.
What about getting robbed at a jujitsu tournament?
Ah,
I was always with friends. See, whenever like I always had Frangia,
yes,
and if I got robbed in a jujitsu match, Frangia would go crazy.
yes. I
And
remember. I've
you know
been
what I'm
there.
saying?
I saw. I
Like that
witnessed it
was
a couple times.
like all
Yes.
of our coaches were like that back then.
Yeah.
Like oh what my white belt lost by an advantage. Oh, I gotta flip out now and yell in Portuguese. Like
Yeah. Exactly. And I think it's awesome because you get to see how much our professors like actually how passionate they are about us. Because they will go and they will advocate directly to the referee whether they can do anything or not. They're still going to get their earful.
it was traumatic for me. I remember feeling like looking at this poor referee who's
Like he didn't do it.
terrified
What
of
did he
Frangia,
do?
and he's just looking at me like, man, I wish I would have let you win this match, little white boy. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at him like, I'm sorry, big dog. And Frangia is just all just ah,
Yeah, ready to just
you
ready to
know.
throw blows.
So I don't know when my professional grappling career, the times that I felt like I got robbed or whatever,
Mhm.
I never like.
Was it always against a Brazilian opponent?
I don't remember getting robbed. Like it never, it's not some like traumatizing experience I have. Like I know some of my peers who are like, yo, dog, I quit jujitsu because I got robbed. Like,
Do you have a Pan American gold medal by any chance?
yeah,
Okay. I got robbed once and it cost me a Pan American gold medal. So yeah, it could definitely hit you in the boo boo. But yeah, it happens. We get robbed at tournaments.
it happens.
I remember back in the day, no offense to my IBJJF friend homies. I got a lot of love for you guys. I put a lot of work in your circuit.
You praise the titles you have with them.
Absolutely, I highly praise the titles that I've
Very
earned.
valuable.
But at the beginning, there was a good chance that if the ref and my opponent spoke Portuguese, I was going to get a fat L if no points were scored. And it's just how it went. So I always knew if you spoke Portuguese, I was going to throw the kitchen sink at you because it was either murder you or lose by a bad decision.
Right. Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to think of my most traumatic. Like, oh, I should have won that match. I think there was one time at a Grappler's Quest, and this is the point I was thinking about while you were saying that, is that there's no rules set yet that is perfect. Where there's not some loophole where you can complain about somebody stalling here or there, or they got to the edge of the reset wasn't right, or the point we don't like that. There's never been a tournament where there's not room to get robbed.
Yeah. Well, I like Eddie Bravo's rule set.
I mean, and even that, there's ways you can get robbed.
There is
in that.
true. There's ways to game all point systems.
Right.
Once you learn the rules, you can start playing within them. So I think that's going to be an issue with no matter what the rule set is.
Right. Right. Tap the dude. Just tap
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. Like that's the whole point of jiu-jitsu is the definitive ending of the confrontation through submission.
Okay. Next subject will be dogs.
Oh, I love dogs. Man, instantly turns on an extra chromosome. I can't help it. Like my love for dogs makes me look like a retard.
I love dogs.
I love dogs. Get a picture dog.
I want to pet everybody's dog. Okay.
Yes, I love them. They're man's best friend.
Next subject: fighting in combat jujitsu.
Oh my lord. Do you mind if I plug in your fight with Faber?
Oh well, that's part of why I wrote that down as
Absolutely.
something to talk about.
I cannot wait to see this. Combat jiu-jitsu is one of the coolest like ideas I've ever like heard of, because you get a lot of people that get so comfortable with their berimbolos and all of their fancy jiu-jitsu stuff that they forget that they're supposed to be blocking punches, you know. It's hard to block punches when you got both your arms and both your legs tied up.
I went to one with Pete the Greek,
Yes, how was it?
and it was when they first started doing it, and one of his students was in it, and dude, his face was like this dude took shots to the face, and he needed stitches under this eye, he needed stitches under that eye, he needed stitches over both eyes.
And
You know
this
what
is
I'm
just open
yeah.
hand strikes.
Oh yeah, I mean his lip was split in half, like that needed to be cut to get like stitched together. And I was like, man, you might as well have just done MMA. You know what I'm saying? And that was one of my early memories of it of combat jiu-jitsu. Another really great memory I have recently. I went to Arizona with Zoltan
Yes,
and
the man. Shout out to Zoltan.
Big Zo, and we went to a combat jiu-jitsu out there. And a couple of the guys and the guy who ultimately won did the whole thing without throwing one slap.
Wow.
They were taking slaps, blocking them, deflecting them, using them to set up this, set up that. But ultimately, it was Kyle Chambers was one of the guys,
Okay.
and he just had a submission victory at the trials over our buddy Majid,
Wow.
with a heel hook. Congratulations, big win. Anytime you can beat Majid Hage, I'm very impressed. So yeah, him and another guy named Ryan, they were both going through the bracket and not hitting dudes
Wow,
and still
just-
winning.
Well, I mean, once again, it highlights the beauty and the defensive nature of jujitsu.
Well said.
Yeah, I think that you can win fights with jujitsu without throwing a single punch. Although it's not fun. I like punching you back if you punch me, but you can. You could subdue a person and put them in a very bad position, like including going to sleep.
Yeah.
Sleepy night.
Yeah.
And how do you come back from that? You wake up without your pants, without your wallet. Like, man, you make me choke you to sleep in the streets, you might wake up naked. You know what I'm saying? Know what I mean? Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think the upcoming match with Faber, I'm really looking forward to it. I think
Me too.
it's a good opportunity. There's nothing personal between the guy and I. We're actually friends, and we're going to be the same weight. And it's just such a good opportunity. And I'm just so thankful that he has given this opportunity to me, because there was literally like thousands of dudes asking for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can imagine how many people would look forward to this opportunity. It's
Right.
huge,
Right.
You get to face off with a legend, two legends facing off, in a relatively cool new sport. It's exciting. It's definitely exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Right. And we're of the same generation.
Yes.
We're both in our 40s,
Absolutely.
and I think it's going to be great.
Well, Faber's the man. I mean, it's hard not to like him. He's the California kid, dude. I mean, yeah. Granted, his chin does have a large anus, but huge butt chin. But it's hilarious because my sister has one, so I have all the butt chin jokes. I can't even help it. Sorry, Uriah. I was just built.
Sorry
for
to
this.
your sister too.
Yeah, sorry to my sister.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
absolutely. You guys probably go through a lot of charming, cleaning your chins off and stuff.
That was pretty mean.
What kind of Balchinian,
No, I used to. He's from Santa Barbara. I was also spent a lot of time growing up in Santa Barbara,
Yes.
and we have that connection. And there were several times where Uriah would like reach out to me and come train with me and Bill.
That's
at
super
Paragon.
cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
He brought TJ Dillashaw one time, and I set up the mats at my pad, like on the back patio. I don't know if you remember that pad that I had when I was living with Stephanie and Diana in Santa Barbara, and you had to go in that gate. It was a dope spot, dude. But we had the mat set up in the back, and he brought Dillashaw. We trained, and the point is, I've trained with Uriah several times, and I've also gone and done like seminars at his school, and
Well, speaking to that, how is it going to feel hitting Uriah in the head with your palms. You know,
How?
is it gonna
I
feel
don't know.
good?
I want to try to. I want to try to do no strikes. I'm not gonna try to hit him. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know how much. I want to think about strategy this far out. We're about a month out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know.
It'd be
I'm
silly.
usually like, we'll think about this like a couple days before.
Well, I think you do best in the middle of chaos, Glover. Honestly, like I think that the sometimes you create chaos just to capitalize on it because you're so good at navigating it.
Yes, that's the idea of scrambling.
Yes.
You know, of getting into scrambles and winning in the scramble has. Man, if it's something you can do, you should hone that skill. Because the best champions win in scrambles. There's also a lot of champions that like control every little inch and step of every match, and they don't let scrambles happen. There's definitely those both styles.
Yes.
But I would say, at least, maybe statistically, it's not the best way to go about it, but maybe stylistically and visually for me to watch somebody who's sick at jiu-jitsu, I want to see somebody who can create, win in the scrambles. Not always. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely a beautiful thing to see somebody who can just come out and grab a motherfucker and control him every inch of the way and bow. You go to the ground and I pass and I mount and there was no scrambles and it was all controlled and that's cool to see too.
Yes.
You know. The next subject I wanted to get to was bad habits in learning.
All right, where do we start? Do we start with the purple belt that skips warm up and just walks right in? You know, skips all the warm up just to come in and train. You know, everyday Pajada style. And we start there.
Well, how about personal experience? What were some of the mistakes maybe
I made?
you or like for me it's always like things I didn't do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was always like, damn, I didn't run that extra stadiums. You know? Like Frenchie would call me and be like, Jeffy, we're going to run stadiums. And I'd be like, I don't want to. I want to play video games.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So your regrets were things you didn't do in training.
Yeah. My regrets were not eating properly. But I'm more talking about the learning of the jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
I would say I don't know, like some things take a long time to settle. Some information takes time to settle, and trying to force yourself to learn something sometimes is not going to work no matter how hard of you drilling and focus you put on it for an hour. You're like, I'm going to put 2 hours of focus on this one idea. It's like, dude, your brain is saturated with too much information right now and it can't take any more in.
Yeah. No, that happens. Brain overload, you know. And, you know, people with like peanut brains like me, brain overload happens very, very fast. You know, yeah. I can absorb possibly maybe 1 or 2 moves in a session. I could probably absorb 2 moves comfortably, granted that I practice them enough and I hit them in competition or like during training. I guess that would be why jiu-jitsu training is structured the way it is. You know, you get taught the technique, then you get a chance to practice it or to attempt it on an opponent that is not letting you. So I think that if you can learn it there and then complete the move on one of your training partners while they're resisting, you learn the move, you know, or at least a variant of it. And as you know, different body types create different jiu-jitsu, you know. There's stuff that you're dexterous and able to do that I couldn't even fathom or dream of ever doing in my life because my body build will not allow it. But that's what makes our jiu-jitsu so unique, you know, like your deep half guard. Bro, how many times can you get swept by the same move, even though you know it's coming? You know, I step into your half guard. I know it's coming, but I still can't avoid it. You know, it's just.
Well, it's hard to say if that's a bad habit or not. Like,
it's not a bad habit.
Well, I mean, the idea of constantly going back to a move that works all the time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that you could be familiar. It would probably stagnate your growth.
Right. Like, I've heard a lot of talk about, you know, people can win world titles with like, having 4 moves in their game. Being good at, like, 4 things.
Lie. It's not a lie. It's not a lie. I mean, some of the dudes I look up to, I don't look up to them because they're flashy. I look up to them because they're really good at basic movements, at basic jiu-jitsu, you know. Hodger Gracie doesn't do anything fancy, but he's just really good at the basic stuff, and you know what he's gonna do. You know exactly what the man's going to do, but you can't stop it. It's
Yeah,
like your half guard.
They're both valuable. Both styles are valuable. The make shit up on the spot and, be able to flow style, and the don't let anything happen style.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. It's hard to tell somebody what's like a bad. Is that a bad habit? Like I always felt incomplete with my grappling. I always felt like I didn't deserve to claim OG status because I wasn't well rounded. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be one of the experts in jiu-jitsu that can show you like everything. And we all know that's impossible. It's impossible to learn everything in jiu-jitsu and know everything about grappling and every move. There's thousands of moves. But like, I felt like, okay, I got really good. Let's talk about dogs again.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, I love dogs.
I love dogs.
They're doggies.
They make me retarded. I'm sorry. I love dogs. Yes. Speaking of Liz, Princess Liz, Queen Liz, man, that dog right there. Nothing turns my heart and my brain to mush faster than seeing Liz.
It's the breed. The Maltese breed was bred in the island of Malta, which is an island
off the coast of Italy.
And yeah, I mean they're lap dogs. They're called toy dogs, And I don't know. I'm very happy having that little dog. I've also had really big dogs.
Yes.
I've had both.
Yes.
And I love all of them. What's crazy is that they're all dogs. Whether it's a Great Dane or it's a Maltese, they're both dogs.
Yeah, they're domesticated wolves. It's the coolest thing ever.
That little dog is the same thing as a Great Dane, bro.
Some Neanderthal.
The same thing. We're the same. We're both humans, bro.
Exactly.
You're 6 whatever, and I'm 5 whatever.
I'm 6'4" from the Yucatan Peninsula, and you are from the mountains of the Caucasus.
Right, but we're both humans. Like that's crazy,
Absolutely.
I find that fascinating.
Well, humanity is beautiful and diverse. Like all of us. I think you'd be hard pressed not to find a beautiful thing in every culture.
Wow, Sergio, that was beautiful.
Thank you. I think my love of dogs segued that love of humanity.
Because we created dogs.
Yes, awesome. We did, through domestication from wolves. That's pretty cool, man. Some Neanderthal caveman found a wolf, started petting it, giving it bones, and before you know it, you got that beautiful little Maltese.
I think it was a little kid. A little kid came to its parents and was like, "Look what I found." They're like, "Oh, what are you doing with that
thing?" He brings a wolf pup into the tribe.
It's cute. The guy's like, "Oh, get it out of here." All right, wait, hold on.
Yeah, because a lot of animals get orphaned in nature and stuff. Nature's a bitch.
Like kids will just go to animals and just be like, "I like it, I carry it." Oh.
Well, I mean, they say kids have pure hearts, and they say dogs have pure hearts. And man, tell me 2 better things to protect, than a pure heart of the child or a pure heart of a dog. Like as much as they protect us and love us, bro, I'll bounce somebody off the floor like a basketball over Liz.
Next subject I wanted to talk about is slap.
Power slap, baby.
Power slap.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I think
it's controversial, but I think it's awesome.
I think you would wreck dudes in that.
Probably. But I only have 3 brain cells left, and I got to kind of I got to spread them out for the next 20, 30 years.
You got big hands.
Yes, huge hands.
Smack dudes.
I don't know. I for the price is right. If the price is right, if the money was there, I would for sure give up my last 3 brain cells. For
What's
power
the
slap.
minimum you would go up there for?
To risk some CTE, probably 20 grand.
Yeah,
for 20 grand, I'll risk some CTE.
20 grand.
Yeah, 20 grand will do it.
I don't know. If that's what those guys are getting
They're
paid.
not. They're getting like 3 or 4 grand, and you can understand why. I mean, it is a talent. Believe me, you have to be very talented to get rocked on the side of your head and not fall. That is a talent. Okay, believe your boy. That is a talent. But I just the way I see it is like you're for sure gonna get your situation rocked. You're risking a knockout in front of to me it's more of a humiliation thing. Like I don't want to get knocked out unless I'm waking up to 20 grand. I'll get knocked out for 20 grand.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I think honestly, power slap is pretty cool. I remember challenging people to Siberian slap fighting matches, which is basically power slap
From Siberia,
from Siberia. Yes,
just Southeast Asia.
Southeast Siberia and Southeast Asia. Yes, we used to call it Siberian slap fighting in my heyday. And now it's on TV. Now you get paid for it. Actually,
But
just
Muay Thai was invented, by the way, in Siberia.
that was pretty awesome. Y'all Siberians be exporting some cool shit, including Siberian slap fighting. I had a chance to recently train with Adam Hutchinson from Power Slap, getting him ready for a grappling match with one of the Hardy guys.
I've heard that name.
Yes.
Where have I heard
Adam.
that name?
He's from Power Slap.
Okay.
Yeah,
But besides that's how we got famous was Power Slap.
He might have gotten famous from something else, but I believe that's what he's generally known for, is for slapping other humans. It's pretty cool, you know. They should just call it the professional pimp hand league, you know, because that's how pimps strike their employees.
Yeah,
Pimps like to strike their employees with open-handed.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So the pimp.
I've heard a lot of songs where they say that.
Lots of songs by you know, famous rappers like Too Short and Eazy-E. You know, some of my favorites. That California pimping lifestyle.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Too Short.
Yeah, we grew up on the West Coast. We know all about that. Yeah, the power slapping thing. It's fascinating to me. Like, it's the opposite of jujitsu.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the polar opposite of jujitsu. Jujitsu is like about avoiding damage. You know, like not seeing how much you can take. It's seeing how much you can avoid.
Well, I mean, if you don't mind me having a differing opinion on this, I think that, like, if you watch when it's like
I don't mind different opinions, by the way.
When there's a large size disparity, you know, like a discrepancy, whatever, between two opponents, you know, sometimes the little guy has to weather the big guy's storm. You know, they have to be able to hang on and survive in order to apply their offense when the bigger guy gasses, you know. And
right, that's the idea behind close guard, is you keep the person behind your guard so that your legs can either keep them far away or keep them super close, and you stay out of that mid range where the punches have their most power.
correct.
You know, the idea is you do this long enough, this person gets exhausted and frustrated enough, they start making mistakes.
But you're gonna have to absorb a little bit of punishment to get to the end of that.
I mean, you don't have to.
I mean,
You might come across that, and it has happened, but there's times where nothing happens.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
That's true.
I've punched a dude from, where was I? I was like in my close guard. Some dude in Santa Barbara, and it like tackled me in a street fight, totally unprovoked. I swear.
I love Jeff Weber's street fight.
Listen,
stories.
I've provoked fights. I've provoked fights. This one wasn't provoked. This dude just looked at me and was like hammered. I was like, "Whoa, you look wasted, buddy!" And he just shot a double leg on me.
Oh, right away,
Just bow, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And he took me down.
A hell of a way to introduce yourself to someone.
Man, and from the bottom, I remember, like, I don't know if it was like mount. I think he had me in the mount or some shit. But I remember looking up and just going boo from the bottom, and just he was asleep.
You dropped him from being
Asleep.
mounted?
I was like, "Oh, get this dude off me!" Like, oh, and then we ran away, and it was crazy. But yeah, I mean, the idea of jujitsu, back to the point, is that
Avoiding damage.
avoiding damage and not causing that much damage when you beat the person, right?
Yes.
Is having like mercy. Whereas slap, what's it called? Power slap?
Yeah, power slap. It's
Man.
the exact opposite.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Well,
like,
listen, man.
how much can you take?
I'm a huge fan of all forms of violence except domestic violence.
Hey,
Right? It's the only violence I don't tolerate, but all other kinds of violence, with some exceptions, is totally entertaining. You know?
Okay, one last question for you, Sergio, here.
Okay.
A 500-pound gorilla versus a 500-pound polar bear, same weight, locked in a room no bigger than this, fight to the death. Who wins? Gorilla, polar bear, same weight.
Wow. Well,
Make it a short answer.
I'm gonna have to go with the gorilla because that is one of my close relatives. The gorilla, they'll probably end up hurting each other so bad that they both die, but the gorilla will be the last one to breathe, I believe.
Nice. I guess I would also go with the gorilla, because the grabbing.
Yeah, you use your legs kind of like a gorilla uses their legs, like hands. You know, it's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. The dexterity of your feet, bro. You can literally make coffee with your feet.
Hey, Sergio, thanks for doing this.
Oh, my
Lots of
pleasure.
love and respect. You know, I try to, and I know you do as well. I try to. I try to use jujitsu to be less of a shithead,
Yes,
and it's always helped me be a better person.
that is true.
And,
That is a fact.
If you're listening to this or watching this, and you're in jujitsu, and that's one of the reasons you like jujitsu, I'm with you, dog. It's not just about winning tournaments. So love and respect. Thank you to Gold Town, and
Big shout out.
we out.